Hey everyone, my name's Catherine Rule. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make this pattern here. It's really fun and it's really easy, and I'm going to show you step-by-step instructions. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you're new, please consider subscribing. It's really important for me to know what you guys are enjoying on my channel, so if you give it a thumbs up to let me know what kind of videos you want me to make, I really appreciate it. So anyway, let's get started and I'll show you how to do the folds.
So first I'm going to start with a pre-washed piece of square fabric. I'm going to give it a little press. And I'm going to make sure it's totally square. So I'm going to match it up with the corners. I'm just going to make sure it's big enough. I'm going to make a pillow out of this, so I want to make sure it's big enough for the face of my pillow, which it is. And I'm going to just tear off the excess so it's a perfect square. So I'm going to fold it in half, give it some steam, and then I'm going to fold it in half again. So the edge with no raw edges is going to be the middle of the pillow. So I'm going to now fold it handkerchief style in half. And then I'm going to accordion fold it into a rectangle like that. So it's going to be diagonally folded into a rectangle. And I'm going to make sure it's about the same size as my paint stick. So that was too thick. I'm going to do it a little bit thinner. There we go. And I'm going to keep folding it. So I want the corner to match up with the edge. And I'm going to do the same thing on the other side now. It's going to be the thickest in the middle, just because it's folded handkerchief style. So I'm just going to make sure to give it a lot of steam in the middle. So now it's all folded and it's ready to be bound up with the paint sticks and the string. And I am going to list the links for these supplies in the description below. So I'm going to sandwich it and then take my string and tie it in the middle. And I always like to leave a little tail. And I'm going to just wrap it as tight as I can from the middle to one end. And then I'm going to turn around and go to the opposite end and then come back down to the middle and tie it off with the tail that I left with the original knot. I'm going to make it as tight as I can, and there it is, ready to dip in the vat.
Okay, so it's time to dip this one into the vat, and I have a vat here that I have mixed up already. So I'm going to dip it and see how it turns out.
I'm using a pre-reduced indigo vat, and I'm going to make sure that all the bubbles are off the top. I've had this vat for a while, so I'm not mixing up a fresh vat. And it's not deep enough to get the whole thing in, so I'm going to tip it to make it as deep as it can get. And I'm going to just carefully dip about half of it in. And then I'm going to turn it around and do the same thing on the other side. So I'm dipping it very quickly, and I'm dipping it dry. This is a Thiox vat, so that's my preferred way of working when it comes to indigo. So you can do quick dips and you can get a pretty consistent deep blue color. So I'm just kind of squeezing the indigo into the folds and squeezing it out on the ends so it doesn't drip everywhere. And that's as much as I'm going to dip this one. I don't want it to get too blue inside, so the flash dipping is really my favorite way of dipping. So I'm going to let it sit for a few minutes, and then I'm going to take it apart and see how the pattern turned out.
All right, so I've let this sit for a few minutes, and I'm really excited to open it up and see how it turned out. So I'm going to be very careful when I'm cutting these strings. All right, very exciting. Gorgeous. This is so, I've wanted to do this fold for a while, haven't gotten around to it. So that's one. Where's the others? Here we go. Ooh. First. I mean, that is awesome. Oh, it turned out better than I thought. So cool. So I'm gonna let this dry on my drying rack here, and then I'm going to wash it with Synthropol, and I'll put the link to the Synthropol down below in the description in case you want to check that out. And I am really excited to see how this washes. So after I let this one dry, I washed it on hot with Synthropol, and then I dried it on hot to set the dye. And as you can see, it turned out really cool, and it's a really awesome, unique pattern. So go ahead and hit the thumbs up button if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe for more dyeing tutorials and dyeing videos.
After I washed this piece, I decided to make it into a pillow, which you can see here. And I also made some other Shibori pillows. I made a studio vlog about sewing these pillows, and they are also available for sale on my website, so you can check it out. I'll put a link in the description below. Thank you guys so much for watching this tutorial, and I hope you guys have a lot of fun dyeing, and I'll see you guys next time.